You're watching the 643 DP podcast with Derek and Patrick.
For the 643.
The stream is about to begin.
For the 643. For the 643.
Just what the doctor ordered.
For the 643. For the 643.
Get your questions ready. Derek and Patrick will be on in 1 minute.
For the 643.
Just what the doctor ordered.
For the 643. For the 643. For the 643.
The stream will begin in 30 seconds.
For the 643. For the 643.
Just what the doctor ordered.
This is the 643 DP podcast with Derek and
For the
Patrick.
643.
The show is about to begin.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 643 DP podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, joined today, as usual, by the man, Derek from MYY Recaps. How we doing, Derek?
How's it going, man? A couple days till the trade deadline.
Yeah, we're what? The trade
And
deadline is the
it's
30th?
30th.
I think?
Yeah, they moved.
so
They
we're,
moved
what,
it up
9
a
days?
day. Yeah, they moved for some reason.
Weird.
They moved it up a day. There's, it's been July 31st my entire life, and now it's July 30th. Threw me
No,
off.
it's strange because I remember one year they moved it to like August 1st, too. So they went from like July 31st, the normal day, and then they moved it to like August 1st one year and whatever. But listen, shout out to everybody currently in chat. Let's take attendance / roll call. Let's see who we got in here. We got Damian, Fritz, Michael Caputo. We got Ed King, Wyatt, Leo. Who else we got? We got Sal, Jesse Dominguez, Daniel, Not So Family Fun Vision, CC Art. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. I'm sure I missed a ton of people. But Derek, we have a really fun episode that we're going to be doing today. And we are playing GM. Now, I know, let's kind of preface this by saying, obviously, neither of us know anything that's going to be happening at the trade deadline. This is all for fun. I'm sure you guys are going to roast the hell out of a bunch of our trades, but I think we're each going to do 3. And then how I guess we could do it is we're going to kind of give our trade proposal, talk about why we think it'll be a good idea. And then you guys in the chat can kind of rate the trade on a scale of 1 to 10, kind of like whether you think it's good. The likeliness of it, with 10 obviously being like a great trade and 1 being a terrible trade. So, Derek, would you like to go first?
Sure. And let me preface this by saying a lot of this is meant to be like entertainment value. I haven't like plugged this stuff into a computer to look at the value. So I'm basically looking at it of like from the perspective of if I was a GM, like here's how I would start the conversation. Here would be like what I would perceive as a fair pitch to the other GM. So the first one I've got, and I hate to part with this guy, but I'm sending Luis Gil, who's probably one of the Yankees' top pitching prospects, top 5 prospect for sure. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, improving command, young guy. Davy Garcia, who I've lost a lot of hope in. So right away, we're going 2 big pitching prospects and a former number 1 draft pick, Anthony Siegler, along with Miguel Andujar. And I'm getting Brian Reynolds from the Pirates and Richard Rodriguez. Brian Reynolds, switch hitting outfielder, 300-plus average, I believe. He's hitting right now. What's he doing? He's hitting 301 with 17 home runs and 54 ribbies. He's got a 144 OPS plus. I mean, he can really play. He's a switch hitter. I'm getting Richard Rodriguez, a closer with just crazy good stats. He's got 1.4 WAR, 2.65 ERA, 13 saves. Not a big strikeout guy, but he does have a 0.804 WHIP. So, I mean, I might be overpaying a little bit in prospects, but you got to figure with the way the Yankee system is, a couple of these guys aren't going to pan out. But, I like the idea that Luis Gil could develop into like a number 2 starter, and Brian Reynolds is not going to be the difference maker for the Pirates. So why not move him to somebody who needs him and get some future value in return? And you don't need a 30-plus-year-old closer right now in Richard Rodriguez, who makes, what's his salary right now? His salary is $1.7 million. That's not a lot to the Yankees, but that's a significant, pitcher for the Pirates who's probably not going to make a huge impact. So that's my deal. Let me know what you think.
Listen, I think I like it. I think the only downside of that trade would be the Pirates probably not wanting to let go of Brian Reynolds. I think I've seen a bunch of reports out there that I think he's probably the guy on the current roster that they would want to build around. I think Adam Frazier would probably be like a more likely of a trade target looking at the Pirates, but I love Brian Reynolds, and I think the only way you would be able to get him is by kind of overwhelming the Pirates with a trade package. So I think that yours was pretty solid. You might just have to add in maybe like replace one of those guys with like a higher, like you might have to give up like a Clark Schmidt in order to get that deal done, just to kind of just like make the Pirates go, wow. I think they need some kind of shock factor.
Can I just say something that might offend a few people? Is I would have no problem using Clark Schmidt as a throw-in. I've never been impressed by Clark Schmidt. I know that everybody said that his future is bright, but to me, he's got mechanical issues that are going to lead to an oft-injured elbow. And so
Fair.
I'm just not as big on Clark Schmidt as I once was.
Derek, that's really funny because now you lead me into my trade suggestion here. And I got the Yankees acquiring a guy who I have been in love with all season. I've been wanting the Yankees to acquire this dude for years at this point. Give me Max Scherzer to the Bronx. So the Nationals are going to be trading Max Scherzer. And not only do the Yankees need Scherzer because, one, gives them a solidified number, 2, but also you steal him from the Houston Astros, who are showing interest in him. But in exchange for him, I'm throwing away Clark Schmidt. I'm sorry. He's like that number 1 guy in the deal here. I'm also including Luis Medina. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are high on him. I just kind of feel like he's too much of a project for the Yankees right now. And I don't know if they'll be able to kind of mold him into the pitcher that he has the potential to be in the amount of time in this contention window. So I'm including him in the deal. And then I put Clint ? Because I think it's very possible that Schmidt and Medina could get the deal done for Scherzer, kind of like straight up. But then again, maybe you might have to use Clint as a throw-in. And I think if needed, you could kind of include him in that deal just to get it done there. But like I said, I would love Max Scherzer in the Bronx. And not only do you acquire him to help your own rotation, but you prevent the Astros from getting him as well. Because you know for a fact, if the Yankees don't, the Astros certainly will. Or the Red Sox. Imagine if the Red Sox go out and grab Max Scherzer. So I think that this would kind of be a win-win for both sides. And like you said, I'm not really that high on Clark Schmidt. I think that he's kind of just an injury-prone guy moving towards the future of his career. So I know you're going to be pissed off about Medina, but what do you think?
So you know that I'm a Medina fanboy, right? I would put Medina right below Jason Dominguez on my no trade, like untouchables list, but he's not quite untouchable. Dominguez is untouchable. I wouldn't trade Dominguez for anybody short of Shohei Ohtani. But as far as Medina goes, I think the only person I would deal him for is Max Scherzer. But I think he's going to come with more of a cost than you think. I think they're going to want Medina, but because he's a project and they still have like a window, I think they would also ask for somebody other than Clint Frazier. I think they might ask for like a Domingo Germán, which
I would still do it.
To get that done, I would do it, I think. And just on your Max Scherzer point about other teams possibly trading for him, I'm not as worried about the Astros. The Astros are always in contention for any pitching prospect, but I'm mostly worried about if the Yankees have to go through the wild card round, which is looking likely if they make it, having to face Max Scherzer with the Oakland Athletics.
Ooh.
I could see
that
them
would actually be rough.
I could see them anteing up for, to pay 2 months of his salary and dealing a couple of good. They've got some good prospects over there. They could get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing as far as that goes is I know I saw a report a little bit ago, and I'm not sure if this is still the truth, but apparently Scherzer wasn't going to be waiving a no-trade clause unless he got a contract extension. And kind of with that being said, I would also include a contract extension in the deal. I think Scherzer is one of those guys who I would feel completely comfortable if the Yankees went out and they gave him like a 2-year, $50 million extension, for example. I don't know. I think that this is it's a complete opposite thing from when they signed Kluber, right? Simply because the ages are kind of similar, but Max Scherzer is an absolute dog. There's no other guy in baseball almost that I would want as like the Yankees solidified number 2 going into the postseason. So, bro, call me crazy, but I'd give up just about anything for Max Scherzer.
Well, just on Max Scherzer, one more point is that he doesn't have a ton of mileage. Like, he's older, but he came up later, right? And so I think he's still going to be good for a couple more years. And so I'd have no problem extending him to, if he wants a third, maybe he'd have to give it at a discount.
Yeah.
But I definitely give him 2 years, 100%.
Yeah. So Derek, what are you thinking for your second trade here?
All right. So this one's going to break a few hearts because Hoy-Jun Park just actually got outrighted off the roster. I'm not sure if everybody in the chat is aware of that. The kid didn't get a chance. He had one at bat, and the Yankees outrighted him, which originally I thought that meant they released him, but I think it just means that he's removed from the roster and they can pretty much put him wherever they want because he's got such limited, service time. They're basically going to option him. But I would include Hoy-Jun Park. Is it June or I think it's June. Hoy-Jun Park.
Hoy-Jun Park, yeah.
Yep. And I would include Clint Frazier. It looks like we're both selling on Clint Frazier at this point. And for me, it's just because I think he would benefit in the environment I'm sending him to. I think I would go for Andrew Benintendi with the Royals. At this point, I think Clint Frazier just needs a new ballpark. He needs a new crowd. He needs less pressure. And I think he would be an absolute stud. And the great thing about putting him in an American League park is he can still DH. The Royals aren't a team that's going to pay a lot for a DH. So if you don't like him in the outfield in that spacious Kauffman Stadium park, you can, DH him. And he'll probably hit eventually. With the spin rate down, he was hitting a little bit better before he started having these vision problems or whatever. They're going to want more than just him because it's basically it's a situation where you don't know what he's going to ultimately be able to give you, right? Yeah. So I'm giving them Hoy-Jun Park, who can play the infield. He's cheap. He's under as much control as you can possibly have because he's had one at bat in the major leagues. And he's mashed at AAA. He seems like a guy that the Royals, with that spacious outfield, they would get a lot of doubles and triples out of him. And I don't know if he's going to hit a ton of home runs. He might not be that kind of player, but he can play short. He can play second. He can play center field. And Andrew Benintendi would be a guy who could fill in the outfield. I know that the chat is in love with Greg Allen. I am too. I'm advocating for, if you make a move like this, then Greg Allen replaces Brett Gardner on the roster. I think Brett Gardner is going to have like an August retirement in front of the fans. I just think that's what's going to ultimately happen. No, hit a home run.
Derek, from your mouth to God's ears, like that's all I want in life, easily. But yeah, bro, you know how much I love Andrew Benintendi. I would love to see him in the Bronx. Also, we know how much he rakes in Yankee Stadium. It's almost like Yankee Stadium is built for left-handed hitters. But yeah, no, I think that deal might get it done. I think the only thing is, I'm pretty sure the Royals really like Benintendi. Like I could kind of see him as a guy who's going to be with the Royals for years to come. I think once again, this is kind of like a situation from before where I think the Royals would have to be overwhelmed to trade Andrew Benintendi, because it's not like one of those things where if they don't trade him, then he's just taking up space on the roster. Like, no, I think even if they hold on to Benintendi, they might be able to trade him for even more in the offseason. Or if they plan on like adding some more pieces, I think that the Royals are a team that could compete next year if they add some pitching. So I don't know kind of what the deal is with him, but I would love to see him in the Bronx.
Well, listen, you had the Royals winning the Central this year, right? So
I did.
Let's just assume that they're not as good as you think they're going to be next year. But I will agree with you. They probably want more than those two guys. But I thought that would be a nice, first offering to the Royals. They'll probably come back and ask for a better prospect, though.
Yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat for sure. But my second trade here involves the Yankees getting a shortstop. And with that being said, I am sending Luke Voit, Oswald Peraza, and Albert Abreu to Colorado in exchange for Trevor Story. Derek, I'm sorry. Like, I got to do it here. I know Story's having a little bit of a down year here. It's not like a typical Trevor Story season, but also let's not forget he's playing in Colorado, not really playing for much out there. I think if you kind of send him over to New York, I know it's only a rental here, but There is a potential for an extension. I'm not sure if they would do it. I think they'd want to see how he performs in these next couple months before they kind of give him like a mega shortstop deal. But I think, listen, you look at Luke Voit. I'm sorry. I love him so much as a person. I think he provides so much fire in the Yankees clubhouse, but I'm kind of over him. I'm kind of over just the injury proneness. I think he's one of the guys on the roster you can now say is injury prone. And then Oswald Peraza, he's kind of useless in the sense of you have Trevor Story now, so maybe he's your shortstop of the future instead of Peraza. You also have Volpe coming up. I think that he might have a higher ceiling than Peraza as well. And then Albert Abreu. I think he's just one of those guys, kind of like I want to compare him to like a Miguel Yajure. Like he's a nice arm, but like not really much space in the Yankees organization right now for him. And I don't really think that they have the time to wait for him to develop. And yeah, I think that might get the deal done. In that case, you're able to move Gleyber Torres back to second base, and then DJ LeMahieu is your first baseman. So I think it's kind of like a win-win situation. Imagine a Yankees infield, Gio at third, Story at short, Gleyber at second, DJ at first. You'll love to see it.
Dude, so a couple of points. One, that is an awesome defense. Like the Yankees would transform. It's amazing how much you can transform your defense just by inserting one player. The issue I have with it is that I don't think the Yankees want to spend that much on Trevor Story. Like they're not going to want to re-sign him for all that money. And I do think that Luke Voit would absolutely mash in Colorado.
Yeah.
He
grow a real nice beard too.
He could, like, seriously, can you imagine? Like, he would be like lumberjack, log cabin, Luke Voit incarnate, hitting 500-foot home run. I mean, he would absolutely be MVP potential in Colorado. I didn't even
great in that uniform too.
Oh man, he fills out pinstripes nicely. But if Colorado's making that move, I feel like they would probably want some pitching back. I feel like Colorado's always been a tough place to sign pitchers. I think they would probably ask for one of our hard throwers like a Luis Medina, Luis Heel. Because in Colorado, velocity still plays, right? And somebody like Medina has a good enough curveball that even if it became league average in Colorado, it's still good. And his command issues can be worked out. He's young enough, but you might have an ace of the future. So I think if I'm Colorado, I'm asking for Luke Voit. I'm asking for Luis Medina. And I'm probably asking for somebody like Miguel Andujar, who's a bat, because bats play in Colorado.
I'd still do it. Listen, I don't think that there's any name out there besides like a Jason Dominguez where Colorado like asked the Yankees for in a trade for Trevor Story, and I wouldn't do it. I think that right now he's one of like the very few names out there where I think is a complete game changer if you insert him into the Yankees lineup. And I don't know. I think that he might be exactly what they need at the moment.
I'll tell you what, when it comes to Peraza versus Volpe, I think you're right on track. I think Volpe is the guy.
Yeah.
And when I look at Volpe, I kind of see almost like an Alec Bregman type, just all bat, short, compact, good defense, quick hands, quick feet. That's what really impresses me about him when I watch him on defense is his feet. He's got excellent footwork around the bag, going side to side. I think he could be in the major leagues at 21, just like Derek Jeter was. So maybe you don't even need to trade for Story. I mean, if you're going for it this year, it makes sense because you can really transform the infield. We saw the Red Sox do that in 2004. They were stumbling right around the trade deadline. They actually traded Nomar Garciaparra. They got Orlando Cabrera. They picked up Doug Mankiewicz. They really solidified their defense, and it propelled them forward, and they won the World Series when the Yankees still won the division that year, I believe. So I could see something similar working out for the Yankees. And Trevor Story, even though he hasn't had a great year with the bat, I mean, I have to credit some of that to the just down offense in general over the first couple of months of the season. I think like a lot of guys, he's going to have a good year. And also you have to factor in the fact that if you're on the trading block like he has been all year and you're hearing your name, it can be a distraction. It really can affect your performance. So I think that if you trade for Trevor Story and you put a player like that in the middle of a pennant race, not only does it energize the Yankees defense, and we've seen what energized defense can do. Remember that series against the White Sox, how good the defense was and how well the Yankees played? I mean, everybody was crisp. You shore up your defense around the diamond, not just at shortstop, and you add another dangerous bat. Man, I tell you what, that could be a good move. I don't think it gets done because I think it's going to cost the Yankees one of their top pitchers, but I like where you're going.
Fair enough. Derek, what do you have for your third and a final trade of the trade deadline?
So I'm just looking at the Yankees pitching, and I'm seeing a very tired Domingo Germán. I'm seeing that we can't really count on Luis Severino or Corey Kluber to come back. I mean, we keep hearing they're going to come back, and it just hasn't stuck. So I'm taking the exhausted Domingo Germán, and I'm pairing him up with last night's hero, Estevan Florial, and I'm getting Jose Berrios. Berrios, I think, would be a solid number 2 or number 3. I mean, imagine if you get Berrios and Scherzer. Imagine that rotation.
Game changer.
Because you're still probably going to get one of the two back in Kluber or Severino. Probably one of them will come back, and you still have Jordan Montgomery possibly, but going into a playoff series, even if you have to win through the wild card, if you use up Garrett Cole in a wild card game, who's your number 1? You really need a second number 1. That could be Max Scherzer. And then you need a good number 2. That could be Jose Berrios. You probably have a day off. Then you go back to Garrett Cole for like a closeout game or an important game 3 to stop an 0-2 deficit or to, break a 1-1 series tie. I think it's really important to get both pitching and hitting if the Yankees are actually buying. So
yeah,
I'm getting Berrios. I hope they're getting Scherzer, like you said. And I would also go for one of these guys like Brian Reynolds or, another bat.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Berrios could make a lot of sense for the Yankees. I think if we look at all the pitchers that are currently on the market, I think Berrios would probably make the most sense, and I think he might be the most realistic target at this point. However, if I am making a deal with the Twins for Berrios, I might try to sneak Kepler in that deal as well, just because I think, once again, might be the same case of story. A little bit of a down year for him, but I think you got to put him in a new environment, a team that's not in last place, significantly underachieving. And also a left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium. It could only go right from there. So I think that's probably what I'd end up doing. But yeah, bro, there's no doubt that the Yankees need starting pitching. You can't go into an ALDS with just Garrett Cole, especially because we're likely going to have to be playing the wild card game this year. If we even make that, you'll have to waste Garrett Cole, and then you don't necessarily have a game 1 starter for the ALDS. It would kind of be like a I don't want to say like a 2017 situation because I feel like the Yankees rotation was more solid then. You used Sevy in the wild card game. And then who was their game 1 starter in Cleveland? Sonny Gray. And then they were able to throw, I think, Tanaka after him, or Tanaka pitched game 3. But either way, they had like some notable names in that rotation after Severino. So you definitely need to go out and grab someone. Right? I think so.
I
think it was CeCe pitched game 5.
Yeah, it was Sonny Gray, it was CeCe, and then it was Tanaka.
Then they went back to Sevy in game 4.
Sevy in game 4.
Went with those 3, yeah.
And then CeCe game 5. Man, how great was that series? That was fun. There is some channel that has highlights of all 5. Oh wait, it's mine. Yeah. So there's a video that I have where I just covered every single game and showed highlights of every single game, and I go back and watch that. Like, it's one of the few videos of my own that I go back and watch.
2017 was so much fun. So much fun. But Derek, I'm going to throw you my third and final trade here. And personally, it's one of them where I'm kind of the least confident in, just because I have no idea what the value of these two guys is. But I'm calling up the Texas Rangers. I'm saying, look, Texas, solid state, right? But it's really damn hot. You have a really nice guy in Joey Gallo, and you have a pitcher having an outlier year in Kyle Gibson. I want both of them. And in exchange, I'm giving them a pretty hefty package. Listen, chat might roast me for this, but I don't know. I'm giving up Estevan Florial. I'm giving up Clark Schmidt. I'm giving up Luis Hill. And I'm giving up Clint Frazier. I'm giving up all of those guys in exchange for Joey Gallo and Kyle Gibson. Now, obviously, it's a pretty hefty package, but I think Joey Gallo is one of those guys who already has the Yankees fan base split in two. And I think when he is acquired, because it is going to be happening, trust me, chat, he's just going to split. It's going to be like a Stanton acquisition, because fans either love or they hate the big home run hit and strikeout guys. But I think that he would absolutely mash in Yankee Stadium. I think you're looking at a guy who can easily hit 40 home runs with his eyes closed. And you kind of insert him into the middle of the order. Imagine him batting behind Aaron Judge. You have Gallo and Judge. And not only that, his defense is elite. His arm is elite. Just throwing him out there makes the entire team better. And then Kyle Gibson, a guy who's just having a ridiculous year out of nowhere. I think that he would be a solid fit in the Yankees rotation. I don't know if he's like that solidified number 2, but if he continues pitching to the level he has with Texas so far this season, I think he could be a good addition to the rotation.
As far as Gallo goes, I'm so split on this. Like, I feel like, maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want Joey Gallo, and maybe like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I'm like, maybe I don't want Joey Gallo, and then on Sunday, I try not to think about it. But if you get Joey Gallo, I still think he could play left field for sure, but you'd need somebody else who can provide a little contact. Like, I just don't want to go too many swing and miss guys in this lineup. I could see them if they keep Allen in center field, shifting Allen over to center field, maybe find a way to bid Gardner a farewell. I think every scenario that I have has to include Brett Gardner leaving the roster somehow.
Yeah.
I say go out and get Gallo, but be careful what you pay for. Be careful how much you pay for him.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of fair. I mean, I think the only issue is, like, I'm pretty sure there was a report that came out today that the Rangers they need a serious offer in order to trade Joey Gallo, because it's not a trade that has to like imminently happen, kind of like Trevor Story. I think a Trevor Story deal has to happen. He's a free agent at the end of the year. The Rockies have to get something for him before he leaves. The Gallo situation isn't really like that. But Derek, I do have a little bit of a bonus trade, kind of going off of what you just said before. I wrote this down right here. I'm trading Brett Gardner to the Long Island Ducks in exchange for literally anybody. Just in this trade deadline season, I need Brett Gardner off my roster. And just how you know that this is serious, I even pulled up the Long Island Ducks roster here, and I'm looking at this dude. His name is Nick Batari. He's an infielder, 6'1", 215 pounds. The highest level he's ever played is the ALPB. I don't even know what that is, but I'll take him over Brett Gardner any single day. Just, bro, get out of the Bronx, please.
So I think that the Yankees and their fans are discovering something. They're re-witnessing something. What Greg Allen is bringing to the team right now is what Brett Gardner used to bring to the team when he first came up.
Yeah.
Now, Brett Gardner will still occasionally hit you a home run or make a really nice catch. But the Yankees, in their mind, it's kind of like when I look in the mirror, I see 25-year-old Derek, even though I'm 38. I ignore the bald spots. I ignore the blemishes and the crow's feet. I still see young me. And I think when the Yankees look at Brett Gardner, they still see young Gardner. When the rest of us who are watching at home and aren't intimately connected with this guy, don't see him in the parking lot every day, don't see him in the coffee room, we recognize that his skills have completely diminished. Completely. They haven't partially gone. He hasn't lost a step. He's not a big league player at this point. He's a good outfielder. He's not a great outfielder anymore. He's not.
No.
He makes tough plays look like spectacular plays because he's lost a step or two. Now, Greg Allen is not going to hit the way people think he's going to hit. He's not going to hit you 300. He's not going to provide much power. He'll be the pesky type of player that Brett Gardner should be. He would be a perfect fourth outfielder. I think he should take Brett Gardner's spot. I think he should play a little left, a little bit of center, a little bit of right. I think he should pinch run. I think he should go in for defense. And I think the Yankees should get a starting center fielder and a starting left fielder. But Brett Gardner's got to go. I'm with you 100%.
I agree, bro. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what the Long Island Ducks would be willing to give up for him, but I think regardless of what it is, that needs to happen. But I think kind of how I want to summarize all these trade ideas, Derek, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the Yankees are doing anything at the trade deadline this year. And that kind of hurts me to say because we rattle off all these names, right? We're talking about Trevor Story, we're talking about Max Scherzer, Joey Gallo, Andrew Benintendi. But like in my heart, I truly have a feeling that like we're looking at all these guys coming back from the COVID IL. They're going to be like, oh, well, we're getting these guys back. You got Luis Severino coming back in a few weeks. You got Corey Kluber probably coming back in early September. I just can't see the Yankees going. I think it's going to be the same situation as years past. They did nothing in 2019. They did nothing in 2020. So now I'm kind of just looking at how things are trending. I don't think they're going to be doing anything this year.
If I had to guess, and that's all we can really do is guess, right? I mean, we're fans. I would say that it'll depend on how the Yankees are in the standings. Right now, they're 7.5 games back? If they're 4.5 or 5 games back, I say you hit the gas pedal and try and do a massive not a massive overhaul, but like get 2 or 3 or 4 big fucking names. Like get some guys in here who can make a difference. But if you're still 7.5, maybe 8 games back, maybe this next series against Boston doesn't go so good. Maybe you struggle in Tampa again. If you're 8.5, 9 back, I think the Yankees will probably, if not sell, stay put.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this a little bit before we did wrap things up today. How significant this upcoming Boston series is this weekend. I know tonight is a pretty valuable game in the sense of you want to carry some momentum going into the next Boston series and sweep this 2-game set against Philly. But I think we need to be looking at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Boston, and how crucial it is going to be for this team. Simply because, bro, you're walking into Boston with this misfit next man up 2.0 Yankees. You're likely not going to be getting any of those guys back from the COVID IL in time for that series. I know definitely not Judge. I'm not sure about Gio or the other guys there. But I mean, you have to kind of imagine the Yankees sweep. Then maybe that might turn them into like super buyers at the deadline. And then if they get swept, that might turn them into super sellers at the deadline. So I think that it's very possible that this series this weekend means everything for the Yankees. Because like you said, it's possible that they could be 4 back by the time Monday comes, or it's also very possible that they could be 10 back by the time that Monday comes. So I think that it all determines on what happens this weekend.
So I want to propose something to your fans here, your chat, and to you. I'm unfortunately going to be unavailable during this part of next Wednesday. I've got some stuff I've got planned with a friend. And so I'm proposing a 643 DP post-game show Wednesday night after the game.
I say we do it. I say we do it
too. Let's do it, man. Right here on this channel.
Derek, we're in. So Wednesday, usually instead of like the normal 643 DP time as the pregame, we'll do it next week as a postgame. But Derek, do you have anything else you want to chime in before we wrap things up here tonight?
I just want to say to Hoy Jun Park out there, I'm sorry. We wish you the best. I still want to see you. I still believe in you, dog. Keep your head up.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, the 2 guys that I've advocated the most for, Hoy-Jun Park and Trey Ambergy, one saw 1 pitch in the major leagues and now is sent down. And Trey Ambergy got a few at-bats and then pulled his hamstring and now he's on the IL. I mean, I hope that each of them get an opportunity at some point with the Yankees again. If not with the Yankees, with another team. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But we will have to wait and see what happens tonight and see if the Yankees could go for the 2-game series sweep. And then this weekend, big series against the Red Sox. But you guys know the deal. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more. Me and Derek are going live on this channel for 643 DP, usually every single Wednesday before the game. But next Wednesday, we're going to be doing it for the post game after next week's game. But I will be live tonight after the Yankees game for a post game. Everyone, be sure, if you're not already subscribed, go to subscribe to Derek's channel, NYY Recaps. He pumps out beautiful content. But you guys know the deal. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you later on for the post game. Peace.
See you later, guys.